I've done a video on path following, and now I can finally do a video on path finding. The most recent logic update in Dreams, the scope update, got me thinking about how I can improve my pathfinding logic. So I took another stab at it and came up with what you see here. It is by far the best implementation I have ever made. First, I'm going to show you how to use it for your own projects, and then I'm going to attempt to explain how it works. So before I show you how to implement this into your own project, I want to talk a little bit about what it actually is, what's actually happening. So this is path finding. This is not path following. There's no predetermined path. It basically dynamically finds the shortest path to the target. And it does that with nodes. You can think of the nodes as like checkpoints. And all these checkpoints can see the other checkpoints. They basically lead the follower to the target. You can, as the follower, you can reach the target from any node. Every single node knows where to send the follower to reach the target. So what happens is basically like the followers spawn in on this node, right? So let's start them on this node. And as you see, it can find the target. This node sends it to this node sends them to this node, and this node doesn't really send them anywhere. So once they have line of sight of the player, they just start following the player, or the target rather. That's basically how it works. There's checkpoints, and they just go from checkpoint to checkpoint until it reaches the target. I'm gonna start with a brand new scene. New element or scene, and I'm just gonna show you how to implement this. You probably have a project already, and it's not gonna be a blank scene, but hopefully this still will apply. So first, you're gonna search for probably just pathfinding, because I made it an element. Okay, so unfortunately it doesn't come up. Yeah, it's a little, even though it has more likes than all of these things, it's a little low. So I would recommend typing in just easy path. I named it easy pathfinding kit, mainly, I don't know, so it was searchable. So type in easy path and you'll find it. And this is what you'll get, all right? And I mean, if we just play, again, if you're in a blank scene, this will just work, but you probably already have a project, but it works. So you see all these text boxes. Let's just read through them. Followers must start on a node or have coordinates of a node set in their target variable at the time of spawning. So you can probably ignore that second part, but you have to spawn in followers on a node. The nodes give the followers the data. They tell the followers where to go, right? So you need to put them on a node so they know where to go. So the nodes can give them that data. All white chips with a garbage can label are safe to delete. Yeah, so you have all these like different debugging kind of things. All of this can be deleted to save thermo, right? To avoid spawning duplicate nodes, rotate the nodes so they don't face. Yeah, okay, so they don't face any other nodes. So if we restart this, you'll see how those blue little arrow things are rotating. Every time these arrows point to another node, it creates a link to that node. So we can actually see that, okay? Now we can actually see that happening. See them spawning in, those little squares. Those are links being created. And you notice how it rotates all the way around. So if this arrow starts pointing at a node, it'll rotate all the way around and point at that node again, and it'll spawn another link. So we don't want that. It doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter if it's linked to the same node twice, but again, it wastes thermo. So To avoid that, again, just point them so they're not facing. There we go. So they're not facing a node like this. So just make it face a wall or something, because when it rotates all the way around, it'll only hit this node once. Okay, what else? Nodes, yeah, okay, this is like the most important part. Nodes need to be placed at intersections. Think of nodes as the points where the followers round the corners. At least one node at all times needs to have line of sight of the player. No matter, when I say player, I mean target. It doesn't need to be the player. Wherever the player is, at least one node has to be able to see it, quote unquote, have line of sight of it. So in this area, this node right here can see it. When we're here, two nodes can see it, this node and this node. So if the follower was here, it would go from here to here to the player. If the follower was anywhere over here, it would follow this path. I mean, I guess let's just look at what happens when no nodes can see the player. So, I mean, we can literally just delete these two nodes. So it kind of just freaks out. Right? Because, like, no node can see the player. So it's like, it doesn't know, the nodes don't know where to send the followers because there's no player, there's no target. Can we undo that? Yeah. And then finally, okay, and then this is all the label related stuff. Walls must be labeled scenery. So you'll see these walls are labeled scenery. The player needs to be labeled friend. The followers must be labeled foe. When I say player, again, that's just the target. The player and follower must not collide with target. So, okay, that's confusing because there's a target label. And that is this. The nodes are labeled target and collidable. So that, you might be able to work around that, but how I have my laser scopes set up, these are collidable. That is actually important. So make sure nothing collides with target. All right. They're labeled target. Make sure nothing can collide with that. And the player, okay, this is also important. The player must have player ownership wired into it from the controller sensor. So what does that look like? I believe it's here. Now, I don't see any player ownership wires, although you might not even need them with the puppets. Although I thought you did. Yeah, so here's the player ownership wire. Where does this lead, though? Because clearly it doesn't lead. Oh, I was in the wrong thing. Whoops. Okay, so here is the puppet chip, and here's the player ownership. We have the controller sensor wired into that. This is really, really important. It's how the laser scopes distinguish between the player hitting the player and hitting a wall. This player ownership. So let's just go into it. I believe it's this output. So player ownership is wired into player ownership. Okay, and that's just going through these text boxes. Let's actually implement it. So I'm going to just really quickly put together like a kind of like a labyrinth maze, sort of a level, right? And then we can go from there. All right, so we have our little level. It can be much bigger than this, but I mean, you know, for the sake of this video, I didn't make it massive. I tried to make it kind of weird to give you guys some examples of like how you would wire things up. I have made this so easy, guys. This is the main reason why I made this video, because of how easy it is. There is no wiring to do. You just place the nodes down and it does everything for you. So here's the node. I would recommend doing this. I put all the walls, I mean, if you can, I put all the walls in a group. It's just easier to work with that. The nodes are not in the wall group. I don't think that really matters though. So we have a node. This is kind of important. Make sure the node is like floor level. I mean, that's not perfect, but actually I wonder if I can make it perfect. Yeah, there you go. So they are aligned to the grid properly. And now let's just copy and paste them where we think they should go. So where should they go? Again, basically every place where they should round the corners. You can do it in a very like detailed way. So like, or you can try to like save nodes. I could show both ways. I'm going to show it in the way I would do it, which is kind of like using as many nodes as I want, not really caring about thermo. So this is how I think of it. Let's say a follower is here and the target's here. Where would the follower round the corner? And I would want them to round the corner right here. You could probably get closer. That's fine, honestly. Let's say, so let's do it again. So let's say the follower's here and the target's here. Where would it round this corner? It would round it right there. And I mean, this is basically just what I do for just everywhere, right? The target's here, follower's here, it'll round the corner right there. So, but basically, like, let's say again, the target's here. This node, another way to look at it, like, where does this node see? Like, what can this node see? It can see here all the way to about here. So we would need another one like right about there. Because like your walls might not be rectangles, right? And then we'll need another one here. Then, so I'm just gonna keep doing this until we're good. So like, let's say the follower's here and the target is here. Should we put a node here? If you're not really concerned with thermo, I would say yes, actually. I would say yes. If you are concerned with thermo, I mean, this node sees this area. You don't need this one here. It just makes the pathfinding cleaner. So like so without this node, if the follower was here and the target was here, it would go from this node to this node. And then once it got line of sight, it would immediately follow the target. But this way is just putting a node here. It just makes the pathfinding cleaner. So it's up to you basically. But I mean, honestly, we really don't need it because the moment where the follower gets line of sight of the target, it'll just immediately start following it. So it'll just go to here, and then at some point it'll see the target. So that's probably fine. Okay, and let's put another one here. So it'll round the corner like that. This should have line of sight up to here. So let's put another one here. This corner is a little bit weird. I'm gonna just put it there. You don't need to make it as tight as I'm making it to these corners. In fact, maybe we shouldn't, because we don't want the followers to be like clipping on the corners. Although, I mean, honestly, it's just these diagonal ones are kind of tough. So let's just do that. What else? What else? Yeah, let's just work off the grid. The grid is nice, but we don't need it at all. So we're gonna put one here. For reasons I've already covered. So this is a little bit tricky, but not really. We're just gonna put one here. Why aren't we putting one here? Okay, so this is the reason. This node sees this entire area. So let's say a follower is here, and let's say the target is here, right in this corner. The follower will go to this node, and then it would go to this node, and then it would go to the target. But before it reaches this node, it will get line of sight of the target, and it'll just immediately follow. So what it would look like is like, pretend my imp is the follower. It'll go here, here, and then immediately turn and go to the target. So we don't need a node here. You could, but it doesn't really serve any purpose at all. So it's really important to look at it as like, what does the node see? What can the node see? So for example, this node sees this entire area. So really, we only need a node here. Okay. Again, this node here. And then, so this area is kind of tricky as well. Let's move this. You don't want them too close to the corner, or the followers will clip with. When I say clip with the corner, it'll literally run into the corner and like kind of bump off of it, which looks weird. So yeah. Let's see. How do we do this this area? I'm thinking right now, I'm thinking just one node here instead of like one node here and one node here. And then the last node right on this corner here. Because this node can see this entire area. And this node, so like if the follower was here, it would go from here to this node to this node. And if it's here, it'll go from here to this node to this node. I mean, you could make an argument where it's better to do this. So if the follower is coming from this angle, it'll round the corner like this. And if it's coming from this angle, it'll round the corner like this. So yeah, that's fair. All right. And the final step is make sure no nodes are basically starting off pointing at other nodes. So for example, this node, it's really easy. You literally just rotate it just a little bit. And that'll completely fix the issue. It's not a huge issue. I didn't need to rotate that one, but I wanted to. It's not a huge issue, but it's important to do it. Okay, and that's it, guys. Like, they'll all rotate and they'll all connect to each other. Obviously, they start freaking out because there's no player, so let's just drag our player in there. You might have a player that's, I mean, you probably, you know what, let's use a new player because, or target, whatever. Because you'll most likely already have a target. So where the heck even is it? So I'm just gonna grab a new puppet. I mean, we can just do this. So what do we need to do for, what do we need to do for this? I don't remember, so let's try to find out. Let's try to figure it out. It should already, the label should already be friend. Okay, well, it's not. So let's make the label friend for one. And then we've got some logic that we need to transfer over. We've got this. Why, what the heck is this? This is, okay, so this logic basically it's finding the closest node. That's it. That's all this does. It's finding the position of the closest node. It's interesting how the center of this is floating. We might want to make this. I thought the center would be connected to the node, but I guess, or the chip, but I guess not. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Actually, you know what? The size is fine. Okay. What else? Right. So this keyframe, you might want to do something different with this, but this literally just basically keyframes off the character movement if there's a loading tag. So how loading works, there's a loading tag in all of these nodes and it gets deleted once the loading is finished. So if a loading tag is sensed, we want to basically disable. We don't want the puppet to move at all. So if this keyframe's on, we turn off the puppet interface. All right, cool. And this emitter, this is for the breadcrumbs, and then this is more distance, like how close the node is to the target related thing. So let's just move both of these over. We want to make sure this zone is centered, which it now is. Maybe center it with like the bottom of the player's feet. I'm gonna just start calling it the player. And then this emitter, we have a breadcrumb sphere. I'll get into that later, but all you need to know is we have this little sphere. It can be anywhere. I'm just gonna put it on top of the player's head, but it can be anywhere. And we want to emit it at the player's feet. All right. Like that. Maybe a little higher. I'm not entirely sure if this matters, but like how high it is. I don't think it does. Okay. And this is just constantly emitting that sphere at the player's feet like that. Okay. Is there any other logic we need? Yes, we need to transmit the player's position. All right. All this logic should probably be in a chip that you can just move over. I will change that, but you know. And again, this tag is not in the right spot, so I'm going to press triangle on it, and that's what I've been doing for everything. And then move it to, again, just between the player's feet. And then we're transmitting that. All right. And that should be all we need for the player. I am going to really quickly just get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of the death and the respawning and stuff. Make it force possession. And okay, there's one more thing. Of course, we need to do the player ownership. So open the blank puppet chip, go to the label page, and go to outputs. So player ownership needs to be wired into player ownership like that. And that should be it. So if we start this, okay, the camera is not in the right spot. So let's really quickly do that. You'll probably have your own camera, but I don't for this since it's a completely blank project. So, all right, there's the camera. If we play, we're loading. And look at that. It's not, okay. So it's not working because this node should be pointing at the player and it's not. So, but now yeah, okay, it's not working when it's moving. I have a feeling I know why. I think it's the hitbox. This is pretty important. Although, should players okay, so you know what? I actually think it's kind of like multiple issues. I think player position should actually be the center mass, or at least like node height. It should be node height because player position, this is Yeah, this is what the laser scopes are pointing at, I believe. So let's just really quickly check that. Player in line of sight. This is the laser scope. Yeah, look, it's pointing to player position. So it's really important that this is aiming at the player's like center mass. Is this... I thought this was based off of the this hitbox. Maybe it is. Yes, it is. See? Yep. See how it's hitting here now? So it hits the sculpt, but it also could hit this. So what we needed to do was lower the height of this. Let's or the lower the vertical position. Let's make the height just match up to the head. So our hitbox will look like this. So that's really important. Now it should consistently work. Yeah, look at that. There we go. Okay. If you can get to this point, then the rest is easy. But so yeah, you'll notice how we're colliding with nodes. That's another thing that I forgot. So let's make it so that we do not collide with target. And while we're at it, let's just make this a little bit faster. So let's do 55, 55. The speed, the speed's probably fine, but the acceleration was really, really low. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so if you can get to this point where all the nodes like work properly, then the rest should be smooth sailing. So what else? I'm gonna just move this to the bottom right so our little box of debugging stuff doesn't overlap everything. And finally, let's start spawning in the followers. So we have this. And we have the actual follower cylinder. So let's just make this emitter emit these cylinders on one of the nodes. And these cylinders will snap to the ground, so the height doesn't really matter, I think. Let's just try that. There you go. All right, we've successfully gotten these red cylinders to follow the player, but you probably don't want that for your game. You probably want zombies or something to follow the player. So how do you do that? Originally, these weren't red cylinders, and they were platform puppets or whatever they're called, and it was actually really, really, really annoying to change what the followers looked like. So I thought, what if you had these red cylinders, and then you just added the character to the group, and that ended up working pretty well. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Let's find what we want these followers to look like. I'm gonna do zombie because, I mean, come on, that's, you gotta do zombie. I think Typhus made a really good zombie. I don't know where it is though. I think, yeah, here we go, zombie. Yeah. All right, we're gonna plop this in, and I'm not sure what's going on here, so let's just delete the camera. So here is our zombie, and here is our follower hitbox kind of thing. What's going on with this logic? So I believe all we need to do, that was weird, is put a follower in this puppet. well, okay. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. So first, we want to group this in with the red cylinder, all right? And we want two things. We want a follower and either a rocket rotator or a look at rotator. Probably a look at rotator, but let's just do one thing at a time first. So we want a follower. I like to put it at 99.99. The speed can be maxed out because we just want this to match the red cylinder. The actual follower speed is in here somewhere. It's right here. And we're keyframing it, so it's the follower speed is this follower right here and this follower right here. So it's not too hard to change. But yeah, so anyway, we want a follower, and what are we following? Okay, that's what the hell's going on? Okay. And so we're following this position. What is this position? Do I even have a tag in here? Do I actually not have a tag? Is it this? I mean, this is the follower oh, this is the follow position. We want the follower position. Okay. Okay. I can't find a tag. Stick to floor. No. Okay. So we're going to just drop a new tag, and we're going to name it. It doesn't really matter. So follower position. Nice, nice. Okay. And we're going to put it right at the center of this cylinder. Wow, can I really not align the grid to that? Okay. There we go. The height doesn't matter. Okay. So the height doesn't matter because we're going to turn off Y strength and Y dampening. And right. So you'd think, okay, maybe we can just make this follow this tag name and then set it to here. We're not going to do that. There's no reason to. We're literally just going to wire in this position to the target position like that. Because why not? Okay, there we go. And this alone should work. I mean, it's not everything we have to do, but it should work. But really quick before we do that, we got turn speed. I just want to make this non-collidable with, oh man, pretty much everything, right? I don't want this to collide with anything because this isn't the hitbox. This is literally just the visual. Do we make it faux? I don't even think we need to make it faux. Isn't this labeled faux? Yeah, that's labeled faux. This shouldn't be labeled anything. This is purely the visual. So let's see if this works. I'm sure I missed something, but no, that worked. That actually worked really, really well. So okay, there are a couple of things, obviously. First off, the red cylinder should be invisible. Is that? Yeah, okay. And the rotation. We need to do something about the rotation because obviously, obviously that's not what we want. So we want, what do we want to do? The rotation should be, there should be two separate situations, right? It should either rotate at the node it's going to, if it's following a path, or rotate towards the player if it's following the player. How can we do that? This is really annoying. Like 80% of the time when I try to move this, it doesn't move. But anyway, we want a look at rotator in either situation. We want one look at rotator to look at the player and the other to look at the next, the node position, right? Alternatively, You know what? We could just do a rocket rotator. Let's try that, because maybe that's just like the super easy solution. Stay upright, 99.99, and maybe like 500. Let's just try a rocket rotator, because that would be a lot easier than handling all the different situations. A rocket rotator rotates it in the direction it's moving, by the way. Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's that's literally what we wanted. The walk is a little creepy, but you know what? It's a zombie, so cool. Probably double that. It's a little slow. That's not double. that is not double. That's times 100. There we go. Or not times. Oh, okay. It doesn't matter. There we go. Yeah, there we go. All right. All right, we've got our zombie. Can we have more zombies? Yeah. Oh, that's weird. But I love it. The footsteps are not great. But I mean, that's not what this video is about. So, you know. Okay, but anyway, there is one last thing, and then we're completely done. We are completely done. The last thing is to delete all the logic that is not necessary. So first off, it's this entire thing. Next, we're going to go into the nodes. Okay, so crap. You literally don't need this entire thing, the path display thing. Or crap. All right, I think we're gonna have to go into each node and delete that. But first, let's go into the enemy, and we can delete this entire. Oh wait, can we actually delete this? Or do we? I don't think we use this. No, we don't use this, so we can delete that. Do not delete the blue one. This is. Yeah, we need this. We definitely need this. We can delete this. Anything with a garbage can. So I guess that's it. But just making sure there's nothing else. Nope, that's it. All right. What about this? Stick to floor? Nope. All right. So there was one garbage can chip in the follower, and you can also delete that white sphere. Before we do anything else, let's just make sure it still works. They're gonna be, yeah. Oh, I guess they're not gonna be slower. All right. Yep, still works. Still works fine. Oh, you know what? Be careful of spawning too many in. Yeah, see, it just broke. So if we pause, it's gonna, yeah, we're gonna get a raycast error. That's because we're using a puppet. So because we're using a puppet, the limit is like 30 instead of 200. We'll just do 20. I know that works. All right. So 20 does not bug out, hopefully. Yep, so that's working just fine. We've got our zombies. So what else? What else? Now let's go through the nodes and just delete this garbage can, because this one is the path, the white arrows that you see. So I'm gonna just really quickly go through and delete those. Okay, that's all of them. Again, it's really important every time you do something like this, make sure it still works. Really, I should be saving between each of these, but that was weird. I might have deleted something in one of these nodes. I'm not really sure what that was. So let's just delete these and replace them. I just sneezed, excuse me. Okay, let's try that. That was really weird. There we go. I must have deleted something or something. I don't know. But still works. All right, cool. And are there any other garbage cans in the nodes? There probably is, to be honest. Hopefully not, but yeah, there is. There's 2 more, actually. All that is deleted now. I did get these, right? Yeah. You probably noticed that I had to delete like a splitter and 2 number displayers as well. I think that was like an update bug. You guys shouldn't have that issue. But you know. Okay, so let's see if it still works. Notice how all the nodes are invisible. What the heck? That might be an issue with just spawning in. Yeah, you know what? That's an issue with spawning in. It looks like it's not spawning in on the node properly. But I mean, it looks like it is. That's super weird. So does that really not work? Wait, what if I spawn in more? Okay, that clearly works. But it's like the initial one that spawns in just runs straight into the wall. Wait, but that worked. Okay, so it looks like I fixed it. All right. Cool. So this is the thermo efficient version. You know what I really should do is release the nodes as like their own objects and have a node that has all the debug stuff deleted. I think that's what I'll do. So in the description, I'll have that stuff. But I mean, here it is, guys. This is everything. This is everything you need. So we can spawn in more. I've limited to 20 because again, the raycast issue. I'm just trying to think of like anything else you might want to do with this. Let's try increasing the hitbox. So this zombie's pretty big, right? This hitbox is really small. So let's make the hitbox bigger. Literally all you need to do is make this sculpt whatever you want, right? I would recommend not making it too big. Maybe is that still, yeah, maybe something like that. And I also have logic in this to prevent them from colliding with each other specifically when they're path finding. So like when they see the player, they can collide with each other, but when they're path finding, they can't. And this just made it, because what was happening was they were pushing each other off of the nodes, and it was like bugging out. But making it so they couldn't collide with each other fixed that. Yeah, so this hitbox is definitely, you can tell it's a lot more appropriate. And obviously, like for your game, let's say this is a zombie game, you would most likely have an attack animation or something here, probably. But you know, that's again not in the scope of this tutorial. One more thing I forgot. Our little breadcrumb thing, this should be invisible. Make sure this is invisible. Like so. That is how to add pathfinding to your project. If you have any questions or struggles with this, well, first rewatch the video. But then, if you still have struggles, if you still have problems with it, please go to my Discord. It's in the description, the link, and just go to the Ask for Help channel and ask for help. I will be able to help you with it. Because this is a very complicated thing to be able to do. I've tried to make it as simple as possible. But I mean, obviously, I'm sure people will run into issues. So do not hesitate to ask. Like, don't feel bad asking for help, especially with this kind of thing. Because like, it's my system that I made. So if you have issues with it, it's probably my fault. It's probably your fault, let's be honest, but I still want to be able to like get it working for you. So yeah, don't feel bad, don't hesitate to ask for help. And with that, I hope you guys are able to get this working. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Have a Merry Christmas.